What's up, folks? Your buddy Fatalroadie. Today we're doing a Raw recap. We started off with Kevin Owens coming out, and then we have a recap of last week with the Kevin Owens beatdown from the AOP and Seth Rollins, and the Seth Rollins-Rey Mysterio match. We then see a video of Madison Square Garden where Rey Mysterio loses the United States title to Andrade, to which Kevin Owens blames the AOP for. So then Seth and the AOP come out. Rollins says that he's doing all of this because he's sacrificing himself to become a messiah. Whatever. Owens has enough of this. He rushes the AOP, but quickly is overpowered. Samoa Joe's music hits. He comes out. He takes out the AOP, gets Rollins in the coquina clutch. The AOP come in, beat him down. Kevin Owens grabs a steel chair, starts beating everybody down. Then security comes out, breaks everybody up. But of course, a big fight breaks out. Everyone's getting all thrown around. Okay, whatever. We later cut to a backstage segment where Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens are in the locker room. You really can't tell what's going on because the audio is so low, but apparently the security are there and they're going to escort them out of the building. We then have Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy in a TLC rematch. Early on in the match, Buddy Murphy taunts Aleister Black with his sit-down maneuver. This is another really good physical match. I'm surprised they put it on first for the night. I'll get more into that later. The crowd was definitely into this. This was an awesome match. There was a lot of action. Aleister Black hit 2 Black Mass kicks and pins Buddy Murphy. Backstage, Seth Rollins and the AOP are asked to leave the building by security. And then we cut over to Eric Rowan, who's upset and doesn't care that he hasn't been invited to Lana's wedding. I honestly don't care either. We then have a jobber versus Eric Rowan and Baby Yoda. As soon as the bell rings, the jobber bolts, crawls up under the ring. When he comes out, he gets leveled by Eric Rowan. Squash match, Eric Rowan won. Shocker. We then have Charlotte Flair coming out. She announces that she's going to be in the Royal Rumble match. She runs her mouth for a bit, then says that she wants a match right now. Natalya comes out, and we have a match. So, Charlotte Flair versus Natalya. This is an match. Partway through, R-Truth and the loser locker room come running around to do the 24/7 500 around the ring. Eric Young is booted by Charlotte Flair. That's pretty much the only high point in this whole segment. The crowd is barely into this, which is probably because of the Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy match from earlier, but Charlotte Flair gets the figure 8 and she wins. We then have a backstage interview with Becky Lynch, and she says her title match with Asuka will be at the Royal Rumble. Then we have another Liv Morgan Emelina 2.0 video package. We then have the OC come out. AJ shows a video package of last week's match with the Viking Raiders. Shortly after, they're interrupted by the Street Profits.
And to make a long story short, too late!
We now has a match. The Street Profits versus the OC. Early on, AJ Styles ends up getting himself ejected. This is an okay match. It's the usual. Montez Ford gets worked over. Tags in Dawkins, who takes over. After a sky high from Dawkins and a frog splash from Ford onto Carl Anderson, the Street Profits win. It's at this point in the night where, once again, Jerry Lawler needs to shut the fuck up. Afterwards, backstage, the Street Profits proclaim themselves to be the best tag team in the multiverse. What? We then have Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins versus Drew McIntyre in a 2-on-1 squash match. McIntyre comes out with a microphone. He says he's not worried. Hawkins and Ryder attack McIntyre before the bell rings, but once the bell rings, guess what? McIntyre wipes the floor with him and wins. It's then announced that next week we're going to have Rey Mysterio versus Andrade for the United States title. Whatever happened to that no automatic rematch clause? I guess that rule just kind of just went everywhere else. Okay. Alright, whatever. We're also going to have the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders versus the OC in a triple threat match for the Raw Tag Team titles. That looks like it might be an interesting match. We then have Randy Orton coming out to the ring on crutches, being helped into the ring by one of the road hands. He talks about his injury from this weekend and that he might be out for a while and possibly out for good. He does vow that someone will get an RKO at WrestleMania. AJ Styles then comes out. He starts taunting Randy Orton, putting his hands behind his back saying, hey, I'm going to give you a free shot. Styles says at WrestleMania he will retire Randy Orton. He then kicks one of the crutches out from under Orton, and Orton says to Styles, you might be patient, but I'm not. Hits him with an RKO. His whole knee injury was all just a ruse, and Randy Orton stands tall on the turnbuckle. So this has pretty much everybody shocked. Even I was actually surprised with it. We then have newly crowned United States Champion Andrade versus the Jobber. This match really goes nowhere. It was a no contest. Andrade tried to do the hammerlock DDT onto the concrete once again, but Ricochet comes out. He tells Andrade, if you're going to do that to anybody, do it to me. Let's fight. So we got Andrade versus Ricochet. Early on in this match, Zelina Vega pulls up the mat, exposing the concrete once again. This is an alright match. There really wasn't much to it. It was decent. Zelina Vega pushes Ricochet off of the top rope. Andrade hits the hammerlock DDT and gets the pin. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for, the marriage between Bobby Lashley and the ravishing Russian Lana.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today.
You can honestly tell that the arena microphones were turned off because you could barely hear the chants for Rusev Day, but unfortunately we could hear Lana as clear as a bell. Lana tells Lashley that this is his best moment of the decade. I hate to tell her that a decade is 1 to 10, not 0 to 9, which seems to be the biggest misconception with everybody, but anyways. Bobby reads the vows that were written by Lana. They exchange rings. The minister asks if anybody objects, speak now or forever hold your peace. Some dude comes out saying this whole wedding is a sham. He says that he was Lana's first husband. She left him for Rusev, and as we all know, she's leaving him for Bobby Lashley. And guess what? She's going to leave Bobby Lashley as soon as some bigger, better thing, whatever the fuck. He gets the shit kicked out of him. So the minister asks again if anybody else wants to object. This woman comes out. Apparently she's Bobby Lashley's first wife. She gets slapped off the apron before she really ever says anything. The minister asks once again, does anybody object? And all of a sudden, Liv Morgan comes out. Holy shit. She proclaims, how could you do this to me? Bobby Lashley says, hey, I had nothing to do with it. I never touched her. To which Liv Morgan says, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Lana. Holy shit. Lana and Liv Morgan fight. They are pulled apart by referees. As the minister is trying to finish this whole shit show, Rusev comes out from the cake, attacks Bobby Lashley, hits him with a Machka kick, to which Liv Morgan comes running back out, hits Lana with a piece of the cake, and we end tonight's Raw.
Jesus fucking Christ!
The last Raw of 2019, and we ended with this. We ran over the show 10 minutes for this goddamn shit show. They started this at around 10:40 my time. So they were at least going to dedicate 20 minutes to this, and then they ran another 10 minutes over. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? We blew our wad early in the night with the Aleister Black Buddy Murphy match. I can't fucking talk if this tells you how pissed I am with this. And we fucking end with this. Are you fucking shitting me? This show, with the exception of the beginning part, the first match, that was good. And then we went straight fucking down with that. I mean, the matches were decent. They were alright. But, I mean, we fucking ended with this. Are you fucking kidding me? Anyways, that'll do it for this episode of Raw Recap. I'll be back later this week with the SmackDown review. Leave a comment down below what you thought of tonight's Raw, what you thought about this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I've been Fatalroadie. You've been awesome. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.